Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Welcome back to the Red Ones Go Festa. Old Big Mek here, and in this episode, we are finally talking about the War Horde. That's right. For those of you new to the channel, welcome. My name is indeed Old Big Mek, and you have stumbled across the Red Ones Go Festa, which is the fastest growing Warhammer 40,000 channel on all of YouTube. Because it's red. And yes, what we are discussing is the War Horde Detachment, which is one of 6 detachments from the brand new Ork Codex. And so in this codex, not that codex, in this codex that just came out for 10th edition Warhammer 40K, there are 6 different detachments that you can take in order to flavor your Ork army. And I have done videos on 5 of those 6 detachments. So if this isn't the one you're looking for, or you're undecided, you should definitely go and watch those other 5 videos and check them all out and make your decision on what exactly you want to do with your Ork army. So let's get into it. What exactly is the War Horde, and why do I think it is a good detachment? Well, War Horde is basically what our index detachment was. So when Warhammer 10th edition came out, all of the codexes were invalidated and everybody got what was called an index. So you got free rules. Everybody only had one detachment. So there was only one detachment rule, one set of strats, one set of enhancements, etc., etc. And the one that the orcs got was actually pretty darn good. And when the codex came out, they decided that one of the 6 detachments is they were just going to keep the one from the index basically more or less unchanged, and have that as one of your options. Now, why this is really, really good, especially for newer players, is that all of the other Ork detachments are very, very focused. Dreadmob really only works with walkers and having lots of grots. The Speed Freaks one really only works with lots of buggies and bikes and things that move fast. The Bully Boys only works with knobs and war bosses. The Green Tide only works with a whole crap ton of boys, and obviously the Beast Snagga one only works with Beast Snagga stuff. So, unless your collection is mono-focused on one of those 5 areas of Orkdom, you're going to be looking at your collection going, boy, I got a lot of stuff that doesn't do anything in this detachment. The detachment rule doesn't apply to it. The stratagems can't be used on it. The enhancements can't be used on it. What am I even bringing this thing for? And that's where War Horde comes in. You see, War Horde's detachment rule is called Get Stuck In, and it's all melee weapons have sustained hits 1. Now, obviously, that's not going to apply to everything, because not everything is going to be good in melee, but everything does have a melee weapon, so that is good. The more important part is that all of the stratagems apply to Ork units. They are not tied down to just Beast Snaggas or just knobs or just walkers. It is every Ork unit. So every single thing you buy, every single thing you build, every single thing you add to your army is useful in War Horde, which is great because you can build an army for less money because it's got more variety in it. You can take advantage of all the big box sets, and then you can get an idea of the flavor of all the different kinds of Orkdom and decide if you do want to have a more focused force, which one it is that actually calls to you. And that's why War Horde is so good. Now, we're going to get into the rules a little bit, but I want you to stick around because toward the end of the video, I'm going to go over my 1,000 and 2,000 point lists. And the 1,000 point especially you are going to want to watch, especially if you are a brand new player or thinking about picking up Orks and haven't bought anything yet. So let's get into it. This video brought to you by Red Squig. It gives you one! And if you want your own Red Squig merchandise, there are links down in the description below. Old Big Mek himself created this. Pretty cool. Alright, so we've already talked about the detachment rule itself. Let's talk about the stratagems. Stratagems are special things that you can do during a game in order to influence the outcome of it. You typically spend a command point or 2 on it, and they only happen during certain phases and to certain units. War Horde stratagems are useful on every Ork unit, which is great. One of the main things they have is called careen, which is where if you have a vehicle that is blown up and you roll a 6 on the Deadly Demise, you get to move it for free before it actually explodes, which is, one, very, very, very orky, and two, sadly missing from the Speed Freaks detachment. So yeah, if you're into some orky shenanigans, it's just great flavor. There's also Here We Go, which gives you +2 movement, or +2 the results on your advance and charge rolls, which is very useful. Art as Nails gives you a -1 to wound when you're being shot at. Oryx is Never Beaten is, again, one of those really, really thematic and useful ones. That one is basically, if you're in a melee fight and one of your orcs goes down, your big war boss or whatever, you can use this stratagem and they stand back up and they eke out all of their attacks before they finally actually realize that they're dead. Again, thematic and really cool to play on the tabletop. And then there's Unbridled Carnage, which is your rolls of 5 or better instead of 6 or better become criticals. There was one more. Yep, no, I'm an orc. I can't count past 5. So, 1, 2, 3, lots. So anyways, those are your stratagems. Then there are your enhancements. Enhancements are things that you can spend points on to make your warlord or other character a little bit better. And the enhancements are pretty cool because in this new dark age of list building where you're not paying individual points for every single upgrade, every unit is kind of locked in, and you end up with these really funky points at the end where you're like, well, I need 15 or 20 points, and no unit costs 15 or 20 points, and an enhancement is a way to spend those points and get something a little extra. So there's Follow Me Lads, which gives you 2 extra inches of movement. Headwap is Kill Choppa, which is really, really cool, and gives you devastating wounds. Cunning But Brutal allows you to charge even though you have fallen back. And then the Super Cyborg Body gives you a Feel No Pain of a 4-up. So again, 4 really strong enhancements, a bunch of really great strats, and a pretty good detachment rule. And again, the big plus to all of these is that they are not locked into a mono-themed army. They are useful on everything. And that is really, really, really good, especially when you are just starting out either in the hobby or with orcs, and that's what we're getting into now with the lists. Now, this 1,000-point list specifically is insanely good. It's 3 boxes. 3 boxes, and you have a 1,000-point list that is thematic, useful, strong, and frankly, cheap. All right? Follow along with me. First of all, you're going to want the old Combat Patrol. That's the one that just went out of production. It includes the War Boss in Mega Armor, the Death Dread, the Death Coptas, and 20 boys. It is an excellent value for money. If you are into orcs at all and you don't already own that Combat Patrol, you should immediately go out and buy it. I will have a link down in the description below to Amazon. I haven't found somebody besides them to work with yet, and as soon as I do, I'll have different links. But for now, there's something down there, and it will be, not any different of a price than normal, but old Big Mek here would get a couple D for it. But anyways, the long and the short of it is, wherever you can find an old Combat Patrol, whether it's at your friendly local game store or through Games Workshop themselves or, anywhere online, you should definitely pick one up, even at full retail price. It is a fantastic value. Now, your second box pickup is going to be, that's right, the new Combat Patrol. That's the one that just came out with the Codex a few weeks ago, and that Combat Patrol is entirely Beast Snagga focused. You get the Beast Boss on foot, 20 Beast Snagga boys, and a squad of the Squig Hog boys with Knob on Smash's Squig. Now, that is also an excellent value. If you do not already own Beast Snagga stuff, if you are interested in it at all, you should definitely pick it up. Now, if you got the Holiday Battle Force Beast Snagga army, you have some options. It comes with everything but the Beast Boss on foot, so you can just buy a Beast Boss on foot if you wanted to follow along with this recipe. Alternatively, that Combat Patrol pairs incredibly well with that army to kind of make your own 1,500-point army of just pure Beast Snaggas. So it's going to be a good pickup either way. So now you have the 2 Combat Patrols, and your third box is Gretchen. That's it. Grats. Literally the cheapest unit to buy in all of Warhammer 40K is a box of Grats, and that's all you need. Those two boxes combined give you just under 1,000 points. And they can be found for less than retail, especially if you do any kind of looking at all online. And they are just a great value. Again, you're getting a little bit of everything, right? You've got some Beast Naga boys, you've got some regular boys, you've got a big clanky Death Tread and some really cool Death Coptas, you've got those Squig Hog boys, you know, running on those giant squiggies. Like, it's just a little bit of everything, and that's what's really cool about it. And again, it's not a lot of teeth, especially for a 1,000 point army. In this day and age, 1,000 point armies are getting pretty big. All right, now, my suggestion to go up to 2,000, I want you to listen to this, and then I want you to take and delete it all and do something else anyway. And I'll tell you why. Again, the whole thing with War Horde is that it doesn't matter what orc unit you buy, you can use it in this army. So if there is something on this list that you don't like, just get something different. My whole point with this list wasn't to build the most competitive thing. It wasn't to build the cheapest thing. It was to build something that really, truly gave you a taste of all 5 other ways to play orcs. That way you could go out, play this army, really enjoy it, and figure out if any of those other ones call to you, and then you could start focusing in on that. All right, so here we go. On top of the 1,000 point list that we already bought, you're going to use all of those models. You're also going to get a Beast Boss on Squigosaur. Fantastic value. Goes with the Squig Hog boys to lead them. They can run around the board and attack anything that is a vehicle or a monster and just wipe it off the board. You're also going to pick up a Big Mek with Shock Attack Gun. Now, I picked him specifically because, obviously, Big Mek, you got to have a Big Mek, but the Shock Attack Gun is one of those cornerstones of Warhammer 40K lore. It's literally been in the game since 2nd edition as both a model and a unit. It's been redone 3 times. You had a metal, a fine cast, and now a plastic. It's a great model. It's sucking, snotling up through this contraption to launch it. Only it doesn't actually launch. It like appears in the warp in the middle of your enemies. I mean, how metal is that? It's just a really, really cool unit and weapon and model. And then what it does is it allows him to lead a unit of Ludas, because you are definitely going to want to buy a unit of Ludas. They are one of my all-time favorite boxes because the box of Ludas also comes with everything you need to make Burner Boys. You just get a box of the older boys to get yourself some extra bodies, and you can use the parts that are in it to build the Spana to build a regular mech, which is something that you're going to need for this 2,000 point army, is a regular mech. Now, again, me being old Big Mek and being all about saving teeth, I would buy, like I said, those old boys and that Luda box, and I would kit bash a lot of things, but it's up to you. You don't need to. But again, you will need a regular mech because he is going to follow around that Death Dread, and to those clanky guys, you are going to add a unit of Killicans, because Killicans are just plain cool. You know, now you've got a bunch of different clanky walker things. Next, you're going to get a Death Killer War Trike. Now, all the new buggies and stuff that came out for the orcs are really, really cool. The buggies themselves aren't that great in the game at the moment, besides some edge cases. But the Death Killer War Trike is one of the coolest looking of the models, and he leads the War Bikers. And War Bikers, again, have been a part of Warhammer 40K since it was introduced. There have been a zillion pieces of artwork and things done with War Bikers. They've been in every game that has included orcs. And again, it's just such a part of the culture. So you definitely want to get yourself a set of War Bikers and a Death Killer War Trike to lead them. And so they can run around on the other side of the board and attack any kind of light infantry, because that is what they're really good at. Now, you're also going to pick up a truck, because every orc army should have a truck. That'll give you a nice vehicle to build. And then you're going to grab a unit of Mega Knobs. So just a regular standard box that has the 3 in the box. You're going to build all 3 as Mega Knobs. And they are going to be led by that War Boss and Mega Armor that we had left over from the 1,000 point army. The 4 of them are going to get in the truck and ride around and just smash into whatever is biggest and hardest and needs a good smashing and a good crumping. And yeah, so they get to ride around in the truck and do that. There's 2 more things you're going to get. Commandos, which is fantastic because not only are they one of the coolest orc kits ever made, They are also the kill team, the Ork kill team. So if you ever decide that you want to play kill team, now you have the commandos and you can go play kill team as well. So anytime you can double up and play more games with the models you already own, it is always a win. So commandos are going to get you that. Plus they infiltrate in the big game of 40k. They sit in the back lines and really mess up the enemy and stuff. And so they're just another way to play things that you have. Again, you've got units that are standing and shooting. You've got units that are moving and shooting. You've got units that are moving and assaulting. You've got units that are moving in a truck and then assaulting. And then you've got, you know, these boy squads standing around. Now, the last model you're going to buy is the biggest and the gnarliest, and that is going to be the Hunter Rig. Also known as the Kill Rig. It's two different models in the same box. Again, fantastic value because you can make it do both models without magnetizing it. In fact, I've shown you that on a video, which I'll put somewhere up there right now if you haven't seen that yet. But you also get a War Boy in it, which we're not using in this list, but if you wanted to, it gives you an option of a whole other unit where, again, you can use it as a Kill Rig instead of a Hunter Rig. But for this build, we're going to use it as a Hunter Rig because the Hunter Rig can take all 20 of the Beast Boys with the Beast Boss. And that's how I would build them. I would build them as a 20-boy block, lead them with just the single Beast Boss on foot. They can ride around on the Hunter Rig, and that gives you a great, big, ginormous, imposing model for the middle of the board. And so now with this list, with this 2,000 point list, it's actually like 1,985 points. So again, you've got some points to do one of the enhancements, but you get a great mix. You've got 20 boys and 20 Beast Snaga boys and 10 grots to build Green Tide stuff with. You've got a Death Dread and 3 Killicans to do all the walker stuff. You've got a truck and a Death Killer War Trike and a set of Death Copters and some War Bikes to do some speed freaky stuff with. You've got those Beast Snaga, the ones on Squig Hog boys and that huge Kill Rig or Hunter Rig to play with and figure out what the Beast Snaga stuff is like. And then, yeah, you've got that Big Mek with shock attack gun blowing things up with those Ludo boys. And so it gives you all the different flavors. All right, that's going to do it for this video. If you want to see that list, it is down in the description below. But again, if you don't like any of the units on it, please feel free to change them out for whatever you want. That is the absolute beauty of War Horde. So, until next time, Wagon!